All week, we've been reflecting on the one-year anniversary of the pandemic. Susan Simon talked to a local doctor who we all came to know in this year of healing and hope.
Amanda, in this year like no other, a small-town Wisconsin doctor became a go-to voice in the pandemic. Dr. Jeff Pothof has helped us come to terms with what we've lost and make sense of what comes next.
Nowhere is it more true than in Wisconsin, the country's hotspot.
Dr. Jeff Pothof is Chief Quality Officer and on the medevac team that's already airlifted several COVID patients in.
And Dr. Jeff Pothof is on the front lines.
Welcome back, Dr. Pothof. Good to see you. Dr. Jeff Pothof became a familiar face on our TV screens this year. Someone Southern Wisconsin has come to rely upon for information.
Unfortunately, there really isn't a much better scenario than a Packer game day party.
As the Chief Quality Officer at UW Health, it fell on Jeff to explain to a frightened public how frontline healthcare workers were responding to the pandemic.
Thanksgiving, I was really worried. I mean, we had like the craziest plans that we put in place. November hit, and then it's like, holy cow, like we've used up just about all of our normal plans. Like if we get much more, like we're going into like crazy time.
Wow.
And then I was a little bit scared because I mean, there's days where we didn't know where we were going to put that next patient.
His calm, straight talk in a crisis earned Dr. Pothof a huge following. And when the pandemic worsened, news outlets across the country started calling.
You're at capacity. If I showed up at your hospital today, could I even get care at this point?
And it would be one after another. I mean, we would do, double-digit news interviews per day, hit, the whole state, national outlets, both TV, but also, newspaper, radio, online blogs and things like that. People needed to know. There's just so much unknown, and this is a really scary thing.
The national news is a long way from where Jeff's journey as a med-flight and emergency medicine doctor began. That's Jeff under the helmet. It all started in the parking lot of the Piggly Wiggly in his hometown of Randolph. What is the significance of this place to you?
We used to have EMS week here in Randolph where the EMS service would come down, but on that particular year, they had UW Medflight come and land kind of where that bank is right now. That didn't used to be there. And I was here getting my brat with my mom and dad, and that helicopter came in, and I was just awestruck. And when those people got out of that helicopter in their flight suits, I wanted to be that person. I thought that it's got to be like the coolest job in the world.
This is the spot where you decided I might want to be a doctor.
I think as a kid, it was maybe even less about the medicine. It was more about a helicopter landing in my little town. But ultimately, it did head in that direction, and now I'm that guy that gets out of the helicopter in a flight suit, taking care of sick people, and just feel really blessed that I've been able to have that opportunity.
Jeff and his wife, Kristen, live in Wanakee with their two daughters, 10-year-old Natalie and 6-year-old Nora. Kristen knows the Dr. Pothof we don't get to see.
I'm incredibly proud of him. He just has an amazing work ethic, and his heart's in the right place. He is sincere, he cares about his community, and he just wants to share that information, whether he has to put in the extra time and inconvenience himself or give up something he wants to do.
The pandemic has been rough on many families, including his own. Jeff's parents, John and Pat, still live in the same house where they raised Jeff and his brother and sister. They haven't been able to see family much, but everyone in town keeps them informed.
It's the people in town here that keep calling us on the phone and saying how great it was. We seen your son on the TV.
Oh, we saw your son on TV, and we're so proud of him, and tell him we're thinking about him and, supporting his efforts. And I mean, I guess that's one good thing living in a small town is that everybody knows everybody.
What was he like as a kid?
Very articulate. Everything had to be in the proper place, and sometimes he'd drive me nuts with it.
That's why he's the Chief Quality Officer,
yes.
Right, Pat?
Yes.
They call him the Dr. Fauci of Madison.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you?
No, because Randolph is the same way. If I believe in him, and one thing with Jeff, what he says, he believes in, and he does it in his own life and with his own family. He believes in his cause, and for that, I have to respect him.
And we really need to keep the foot on the gas. It's important to remember that the game's not over. A lot to be optimistic about, but at the same time, don't let your guard down.
Dr. Pothof went to medical school at the UW School of Medicine and Public Health here in Madison. His daughter Natalie told me when she grows up, she wants to be a med flight doctor, just like her dad.